Thank you so much for having me. And I'm just so proud of you, just as my friend, for what you've created here. It's inspirational. I've drawn a lot of strength and wisdom from the previous guests, and just really honored to you would even think of me in this way. So yeah, my name is Brad Nations. Just by way of background, where to start? It's so funny. Your first reaction is to start professionally, right?
Yeah, totally.
But we're all so much more than that. But yeah, born and raised in Austin, Texas, high school in San Antonio, college, a little town in between called San Marcos, at a university called Texas State. And really was raised mostly by a single mom. My dad was certainly around, but a long way away. They divorced when I was about 5 years old, and saw him periodically throughout my youth, but really was lucky enough to have a really strong mom, which there'll be a theme here later as we go along with, really being inspired by strong women. And really just was very lucky. I met my wife at a very young age, at 20, in college. We're still together, almost 30 years total together, about 27 married. We'll talk about some of the ups and downs of that probably today. That might come up. And two great kids, grown kids, which is bizarre to me that I'm old enough to have grown kids, but one that's 22, lives out in Seattle and is out of college and launched, and another one's a senior at Oklahoma State, go Pokes, and she graduates in the spring. So beyond that, on the professional side, I've been really fortunate. I spent the first half of my career in operations, and that's actually how I met you.
Yeah.
I was running and building call centers is what I did across insurance and telecom, and I got this call one day to join a healthcare startup with no idea what that even meant. And by the way, it was in Utah and I was living in Dallas. So very odd set of circumstances, but I took a bit of a flyer, and it really launched what ended up being my career of note in the health tech or health technology space, and moved out to Salt Lake City with my family, where we spent about 10 years. And from there, just worked through a variety of, or really stayed in that organization for a long stretch. I'll talk through some of this as we go today, but I just have been with a variety of different health tech organizations like Castlight Health and Consumer Medical. And today I work for just an incredibly important organization called Folks Health, which is in support of the LGBTQ plus community. And, that really leads into my personal interests. I'm a very, very strong advocate and ally for the community themselves, but also spend a lot of time working at my old university, sitting on boards. I raise a lot of money for the MS Society on my bike, and I'm a big art nerd and film nerd and music nerd. So all that is kind of a through line, but yeah, that's me.
It's so awesome. And you are very humble when it comes to even just thinking about your professional career and your professional success. And I know because I was a part of some, and I've watched you from a distance with some of the other, and it's very inspiring. We each have our own definition of ultimate success. And what I'd like to know is, when you think about creating enduring success, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I tell you, it's evolved, right, as we get older, like most things do. But I think I've settled on it for me over the last 10 or 15 years. And enduring success to me is doing your best to set aside the fear, the fear of an unknown future, right? And it's way easier said than done. So I will not come on here today and say I figured this thing out and I sleep soundly every night and everything's unicorns and rainbows. But nothing ever turns out the way that we think it's going to. And we spend hours and days and years and months cycling through these scenarios in our head, and they never come true, right? So I think people that find enduring success are ones that can find a way to set that aside and really then be able to chase what's true to them, whether that's through their family, through causes they believe in, performing meaningful work. I do believe we're on this planet to produce and to do something meaningful, but to try to do so in a manner that is not dictated by the fear of the future. So you'll hear kind of as we tell my story, I've tried to adopt that philosophy over the last 10 or 15 years, and I've been really lucky so far. But it's way easier said than done. The future is a scary thing. And I think we are also wired to worry and to fret and to be nervous. Those things are still very present in my life. But I know for me, I view it that way. And the people that I view as successful are the ones that are able to just set those things aside and really chase what they believe in.
Thank you for joining me for our Choose and Become interview series. You could find this episode and others at trishkendall.com. Just go to trishkendall.com/choose-become-interview-series. Or if you have a question or just want to leave a comment, email me, trish@trishkendall.com.